My fellow Americans, this is all about the news media, and I'm going to prove how invalid, inept they are, dishonest, and also frightened. And that includes Fox. Fox is the best, but they're the worst, too. Okay, remember the rocket ship that went up a couple weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, and they told you the story that what NASA told them, it was just actually BS, okay? They weren't looking for water. There's no water on the moon. If there was, they wouldn't have any need to use the water. It'd be full of alien microbes that could wipe out the entire population of the world. So it's just absurd. You know, it's just ridiculous that they show you these things. And how much damage they do by showing you erroneous data is what's happening now in the country. The country is falling apart from every dimension. So start being like Socrates, who I'm going to talk about later, and question and think about things that they show you, and you'll see that they're obviously incorrect. Okay. So that's the moon. The second one is going to be about Islam. And this really, I did a separate video on this. You can find it. And what instigated me doing this is Bill O'Reilly, who I really thought was a very wise man, said that there is a reformed portion of Islam. So I did some research into it. And let me tell you, Islam is taking over the world, okay? And they will take over us or kill us. That's their philosophy. Now, what they've done to make them look like they're reformed is they've taken all references of jihad out of the Quran and put it in a separate book. They still believe in it. The Quran itself, if you read it, you can't distort it, take it away, or divide it up. You know, you can put it in a separate book, but they still have to worship the entire Quran, which is jihad. And I've read you in many of my videos. I've read you from the Quran. You figure it out for yourself, okay? You know, it's part of their religion to convert the world, which is what they're doing. Look at some of the maps here. If they don't convert the world, they're to form a jihad and kill the world, whatever remains. It's simple. It's very, very simple. And for Bill O'Reilly to fall for this gibberish that they're trying to put out now is really a pity, because the man is super wise, intelligent, and well-educated. I can't believe that he's doing that, by the way. But maybe it's just what his staff told him. Okay. I'm going to leave these, you know, jihad people up here while I'm telling you something different. I wanted to mention the truth about healthcare again. They're bringing out all the positives and negatives. And one thing they're forgetting, and I put a whole video out on this, watch it if you'd like. It's very informative. Medicine cannot be practiced unless it's dynamic. Simple fact. The government is not dynamic. That's why they can't carry out businesses. Anything that becomes non-dynamic becomes ineffective. In fact, it's negatively effective. Think about that. Actually, it's the same thing with jihad, with the jihad people. Okay, you know, there's no dynamics there. They just want to conquer the world, and that's it. Punctuation period. Think about that. Okay, a man called Socrates is going to come up here real fast, and he was a very, very, very super, beyond his years, intelligent, intellectual individual. He promulgated one thing that I've lived by. He said life was not worth living unless you question. And the state killed him for that. Anybody that's too intelligent, they either make disappear or they kill. And the state killed him. You'll see a picture of that. But before he died, his last words, the person giving him the poison, was, what's this going to be like? What am I going to feel? So he questioned. If you start questioning everything you see and hear from the media, you'll come to your own correlations of syllogisms. You know, they're just not giving you the truth. Most of them are communists themselves. There he is, dying, and all the people perishing around him. Okay, another proof is in Masada that I gave you a whole video on. This is just a small portion of it. You know, the Jews that went off there and tried to live their own civilization, they weren't persecuted religiously, but they were persecuted like we're being persecuted. Taxes and controlling and crucifixions and people disappearing the same way. They did not kill themselves, and that's what the tyranny that controlled the Roman Empire said. They were a people of love and compassion, and the most supreme thing was the preservation of life. It was against their religion to kill themselves. It was against their religion to think about killing themselves. Of course, the state had to kill them off because what they represented, and they gave a good excuse, which all was written by Josephus. There's a separate video on that. Okay, Jonestown. I saw a recent reproduction talking about Jonestown, and they depicted Jones as a crazy religious, zealot who just wanted to kill. Absolutely not. He was He did form a sect of religion. It still exists. It's called the Apostolic Socialism or People's Temple, variety of things. And he said he was an apostle. He didn't say he was Christ. But they had a thriving existence in Jonestown. And the people were free to come and go. They had houses. It was very socialistic. There's no question about it. I don't agree with it, okay? But the government was sending in the CIA and threatening them. They finally sent this congressman and threatened him, and he killed the congressman and all his people. The fact is, if the American government had no right, it was in a foreign nation, by the way, to go in there, they had no right to do that. Now you're seeing pictures from Masada again, and I'll show you some more of what happened in Jonestown, of course. And, of course, what he did was not correct, but it would have never happened if the government stayed out of there. They were invading a foreign nation, plus they were not allowing freedom of religion. This government is the most tyrannical in all of history, summation-wise, in all of history, and the doggone news media will not show it as it is, and especially Fox News. I am beginning to get disdain. Look at all these stories that I'm telling you about. I'll tell you more. Okay, watch this, how Islam is spreading, by the way. Look at this one for a while. More things that are making me feel against Fox. Okay, I presented all kinds of cases, and they know about these cases of people that have declared their own independence. That's coming up, which is allowed under the 10th Amendment of the Constitution. They're afraid to even depict it. They're afraid to let people know that people are declaring their own independence. It's an apostasy. It's ridiculous, absurd. They're so frightened. Nobody, as far as I can tell, nobody in the media has ever been arrested by the FBI. They've been threatened. They've taken away videos, but they've never arrested them. Why don't they call their bluff? Start telling the doggone truth and telling about what's happening. Another thing is I have a story developing in the VA. I'm not going to tell you yet because I'm not sure, but it appears like the American government takes insurance policies on all veterans, $10,000. They call it term insurance, and they are accruing the interest off it, and they won't give it to their dependents, which they're supposed to, unless the dependents get an attorney and fight for it. I'm not sure of this. I have some evidence, and I'm trying to get more before I present it. I'll present a separate video on that. Okay. Now, if you don't do something about this, it's going to get worse. Here's the people that are representing the truth to you. Some are current, some are not current. Listen to them. They still don't have as much guts that I do, of course, but they're living in a society where they can be taken away quite easily. It's not easy for them to get me. They will eventually come and probably will get me, but it won't be easy for them. And if you don't, at the end of this, I tell you what to do. This one, don't call your congressmen and senators, okay? It isn't going to do any good. You've got to start calling the media, and especially Fox media, and say, stop being children, frightened children. Come out and tell all the truth. Because in all these cases that I've represented to you, and what I've just shown you, I've shown them proof of these things, more than what you're seeing here. I've shown them, absolute proof, videos, testimonials. I had them look up things historiographically. I've told them the truth. Let your children develop. Make the news media first get Fox to tell all the truth, and then some other media outlets will come along, believe me, because it's the only way they'll be able to survive. Okay, now, everything that I've shown you here, by the way, can be substantiated, but don't just go to the net. Go to a graduate library or find somebody who teaches it properly on a professorial level that knows the truth about these things. Most of these professors that know the truth don't go public because they're afraid to. They've been threatened by the government. Everything is being distorted until they completely take over and you have no more mind, you have no more freedom, you have nothing. You will have nothing. You talk about having 2 cars and a television in every room, forget it. The next generation will have none of that. And you'll be lucky to have your own lives. And if the Islamics ever get the nuclear bomb, you've had it. They'll use it. Believe me, it's part of their religion. They have no choice. They have no choice. Please, please proliferate all my videos, especially this one, and call Fox News, email, tell O'Reilly he's wrong. He's usually right, but he's wrong in this instance. And get them to start telling all the truth. Then you can start seeing reality in a different perspective, and you'll start voting different. You'll probably even start a third party, which needs to be done, the conservative party, a party of reality, and hopefully that will occur. If it doesn't, we're gone. Thanks.